John, your Salesreel narrator, and we're pleased to be able to bring you this third issue of the Salesreel. We've appreciated your comments, and we hope you find this reel as helpful as you found the others. Our first story takes us to Hendersonville, North Carolina. From Hendersonville, Bob King, manager of Luminaire Sales, Outdoor Lighting Department.
The new Interstate highway system, 41,000 miles of superhighways, now being planned and built under the Federal Aid Highway Act of 1956. It is estimated that in the next 13 years, highway programs will total more than $112 billion, $47 billion in the federal program alone, and another $64 billion in state and local programs. The potential market for GE-type products is estimated at more than $1 billion. Of course, we aren't going to suggest that all 41,000 miles should be lighted, but quite a bit of it will be. A major portion of that $1 billion will be spent for the lighting of interchanges, access roads, urban expressways, bridges, underpasses, tunnels, and areas of motorist decision. It is a mighty big market, and with your help, we're going after our share of it. I wish we could tell each of you who to see to make the sale, but the purchasing influence will vary within each state and local government. But don't be discouraged. A little persistence and old-fashioned legwork will pay big dividends in orders received. Remember that your state and local government will have the final say-so in how and where the money is allocated, and consulting engineers will in many cases have a big voice, particularly in the writing of specifications. And the utilities will most certainly be consulted, for even if they don't undertake to provide lighting itself, they will supply the energy and probably the maintenance. To help you win the orders, we will provide the best and most modern equipment and systems competitively priced, competent technical and application assistance from our district lighting specialists and our department staff, and fresh and continuing promotional support, highlighting the need for modern lighting as well as the features of our products. This is the biggest lighting job in history, but it's the kind of challenge that I, for one, can't wait to tackle. How about you?
The Industrial Heating Department announced on September 1st, 1957, a new incentive plan for distributors which offers wider markets and improved profit margins on sales of heaters and devices. The new plan offers 5 major benefits to distributors. The new plan offers 1, larger profits for stocking heaters and devices. 2, greater discounts for sound inventories as opposed to the non-stocking broker. 3, greater participation in the OEM market unassigned by General Electric's apparatus sales division. 4, participation in the General Electric plant user market. 5, participation in the government market. Basis for the new system is a stocking plan with $700, $1,000, and $1,500 minimum alternatives. When a distributor selects one of the stocking plans, he qualifies for the maximum discounts available. This opens to the distributor a greatly increased market, which includes smaller unassigned OEMs who purchase in the under $3,000 bracket. Of major importance is the department's guarantee to replace any slow-moving heaters and devices with items the distributor believes more saleable in his area on an equal dollar-for-dollar exchange. The mix of product items in any of the stocking plans may be modified to fit your local market requirements. As of the end of October, 42 distributor houses have been contacted, and about 30 of these have already placed their orders for stocks. The new plan has already been tested with the Glens Falls Electric Company and with the Graybar House in Albany. Mr. J.R. Nelson of the Glens Falls Electric Supply Company, a full-line agent and distributor of General Electric apparatus products, would have been with us today, but he's been held up due to an ice storm. Mr. Nelson prepared this statement, which I quote, "I wasn't sold on the new stock plan until I saw it work. I carried limited stock formerly and did practically no industrial heating business. In less than 4 months, I have twice turned over my initial stock. Our thanks to Mr. Nelson. In all cases, the stocking distributor is protected from a non-stocking distributor since his discount is always much higher in the same order bracket. It's obvious, therefore, that the distributor who joins this plan is in the best position to get and increase his business. Contact your General Electric sales engineer for further details. We've got a call in to Jesco salesman Chuck Walter in Washington, and we'd like to have you listen in on the conversation and hear how he used GEA 6490, how rural electric cooperatives save with capacitors to sell REAs on capacitor savings. Hello? Hello?
Hello, this is Chuck Walter.
Chuck, this is Ted Bond in Schenectady. Now, we've heard that you've run up an impressive sales record selling capacitors, and we were wondering how you did it.
Sure, Ted. We had found that the co-op managers and engineers would agree that they could realize a savings from reduced line losses and release system capacity. However, they generally believed that their power factor was of such a value that the benefits would not be offset by the installed costs of the corrective capacitors.
I see.
And then in making several efforts to demonstrate that there were pretty good savings available, even at system power factors over 90%, found that I was having trouble because there wasn't any orderly presentation that would allow the customer to figure the loss analysis calculations himself.
Uh-huh. You put the customer to work, huh?
I found one of my customers quite surprised to find a system power factor in the neighborhood of 86% rather than the 93% he had assumed. More calculations showed that by increasing the power factor to 96% on one substation, that the reduced line losses would result in a savings of $1,468 a year. Due to the results obtained from this loss analysis, I received an order for $6,000 worth of fixed and switch-type capacitors, and another effort with a different co-op resulted in an order for 12 25 kVAR capacitors with prospects for additional business.
Well, that's fine. Sounds like the GEA did a good job for you.
Still, a third cooperative interested in realizing savings indicated by the capacitor bulletin scheduled a system study to be run in Schenectady. Based on the results of that study, capacitors will be applied to their entire system with GEA 6490 as a guide. And I think that's the story, Ted.
Well, thanks a lot, Chuck. And look for yourself in the sales reel.
I sure will, Ted. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Chuck. And thanks again. Well, if you have REA prospects for capacitors, I think you'll agree with Chuck Walter that the GEA 6490 is a valuable selling tool which can help you create an interest in capacitors on the part of your REA customers. Amazing, amazing, Mr. Shag. You've just won a sum equal to the national debt. Plus, now get this, everybody, plus a bonus of all of Fort Knox.
Who needs it? What's the next category, old buddy? I'm hot tonight. Hello, Ma. Hello, Pa.
Your next category, Mr. Shag, is General Electric distribution transformer equipment. That means lightning arrestors, cutouts, and distribution transformers.
Those are my specialties. Oh, indeed they are.
Now, this is a 58-part question, Mr. Shag, and if you miss even one little insignificant part, you stand to lose $69 billion, and you won't be eligible for the big bonus. Now, Mr. Shag, your first question. How big is the agent market for all this equipment?
Easy. The total market available to agents is $83 million. Oh, I'm good.
Right. Now, why is this market so important?
The market is important because it's growing fast. It doubles about every 10 years. It's also important because it's repeat business. Once you sell a customer, he reorders again and again.
Well, you're off to a fine start, Mr. Shag. Who are the customers?
The biggest market is REAs, then come municipals, and last, miscellaneous.
You can't get away with that, Mr. Shag. What do you mean by miscellaneous?
Well, maybe that's the wrong word since they're big money customers. I mean contractors, industrials, transportation people, and people in government who order equipment such as transformers to power lights for airports, dams, and ballparks.
Wunderbar, Mr. Shag. Now let's take up the products. Arrestors are first. Now, as I point to each piece of equipment, you must tell me what it is. Here's the first one.
Why, that's a station arrestor which features a Magna-valve principle, and it...
No, just name them, Mr. Shag. Just name them. We'll get to the other things later.
That's an intermediate arrestor, formerly known as line type. An externally gapped distribution arrestor, and one that is directly connected. They are all, of course, Magna-valve arrestors. Now, that's a pellet-type distribution arrestor, and the next is an expulsion type. On the end are two secondary arrestors.
All right, Mr. Shag. Now, let's see. For part 3, can you give us a comparison of the valve versus the expulsion arrestor?
Well, first off, the question of which is best, a valve or an expulsion arrestor. This is a hotly debated question, but here's the way they stack up. The expulsion arrestor had the following major advantages. 1, it was smaller. 2, weighed less. And 3, had a higher discharge capacity than valve arrestors.
That's right, Mr. Shag.
Of course it's right. Now, as for valve arrestor advantages, they are 1, universal application. You can hang it anywhere on your system without regard to available short-circuit current. 2, long life, as there is no erosion taking place. And 3, you have no fuse coordination problem with a valve arrestor. Should also mention lower impulse spark over. Of course, the General Electric Magna-valve arrestor incorporates the best features of both the valve and expulsion types. So the answer to the question of which arrestor type is best, neither. Magna-valve is best.
Right again, Mr. Shag. Now for part 4 of the question. Give us briefly the main selling features of the General Electric Magna-valve distribution arrestor. Now, you can have more time if you need it.
Can you spare all that time? Well, the Magna-valve distribution arrestor offers the best protection whether it be size, weight, spark over voltage, discharge capacity, or IR drop. It provides the highest discharge capacity and the lowest spark over and IR drop available in the industry. It has universal application, and positive line lockout is provided through either an external gap or a lead disconnector. The terminals can accommodate either copper or aluminum conductors.
Don't look so smug.
Can I help it if I'm bright?
You've scored again, Mr. Shag. And now, before we go on, let me say that all the questions we use on the Big Tax Dodge have been authenticated by a board of ID sales engineers. And if you have questions on this material, you should check with your ID sales engineer. Now we'll take up the next section of your question, Mr. Shag, which is cutouts. Now, once again, name the various cutouts as I point to them.
That's an enclosed cutout, and an open cutout, a flip-open cutout, and that's an oil-filled cutout.
Now, Mr. Shag, as you list the 3 main selling features of the open dropout cutouts, our stage girl will post them for the audience.
The 3 major selling features are 1, corrosion-resistant bronze hardware. 2, new through terminals that will accommodate either copper or aluminum conductors in sizes from number 6 through 4/0. And 3, polyester reinforced fiberglass fuse tube for greater life and strength. I want all my winnings in $1 bills, so it looks like more.
You've done it again, Mr. Shag. Now you've just won half interest in our sponsor's company.
Remember, Buster, from now on you're working for me.
Now, if you're ready, Mr. Shag, we'll take up the next part of your question.
I'm ready, Teddy.
Now, this is a pole-type transformer, Mr. Shag. We want you to give us 3 selling features.
Let's get one thing straight here, Theodore. Remember, a Tanner. All transformers are not alike. When you're talking GE transformers, there are more than 3 selling features.
Oh, I'm an Tanner man all the way, but we only have time for 3 selling features, Mr. Shag.
All right, Dan, here they are. First, my boy, we have the one-piece clamping band. It seals the transformer, prolonging transformer life. Second, we have the only transformer with special spring clamps on both high and low voltage terminals. Our customers can use either copper or aluminum conductors without worrying about cold flows loosening connections. Third, Theodore, we have coils wound from Formex wire. It helps reduce transformer size and weight, making it easier than ever to install our units. And what's next, Teddy?
The final part of your question is next, Mr. Shag. Our stage girl will bring in a diagram, Mr. Shag, and you give us the chief selling features on this new substation transformer. The transformer, Mr. Shag.
What transformer? Oh, yes, here they are. All tank openings are sealed with nitrile gaskets to prolong transformer life. But that's not the chief selling feature. Oh, no, I have it. The panel radiators are horizontal and flat without projecting surfaces. This makes them easy to clean and repaint.
I knew it was only a question of time, Smarty Pants. You flubbed it, but good.
Well, what did I say?
You said the panels are horizontal. They're vertical, Mr. Shag, vertical, so that they won't collect dirt, and neither will you. That one word just cost you all your prize money and bonuses, and now you're wiped out. Kaput, fini.
This is just too piercing, man. Don't I even get a consolation prize?
Yes, you do, Mr. Shag. You can have the water jug there in the booth. Take him away, boys. Now, I hated to see Mr. Shag lose all that money because he didn't know the answer to one sales question. Now, you've got to know the product story to make money. The product story on General Electric transformer equipment is one that will pay you big dividends. Tune in next week when we will again present the Big Tax Dodge. This has been a Mark Goody, Will Toddy production. Now for our sales tips on new products and a reminder of sales features. General Electric is now industry's only manufacturer of a complete line of general-purpose time switches. Now, these switches are competitively priced and of proven higher quality. First, we have the all-new TSA-47 regular-duty indoor time switch, now available with double-pole contacts. And with the new TSA-41, the outdoor version of the first switch, you'll have a real exclusive. The TSA-41 is truly the only low-cost outdoor weatherproof switch on the market. Low-cost omit devices for the TSA-47 and TSA-41 can be easily installed in less than 2 minutes. Now, this means less inventory and higher profits because you only have to carry standard switches plus a stock of these omit kits. For proven dependable control of any heavy-duty on-off operation, specify the TSA-40 time switch with many quality features, including models with astronomic dial for planned on-off lighting control according to sunrise-sunset schedules. Now you can specify the right GE time switch for any of your customers' needs. The TSA-47 for regular-duty indoor jobs, the TSA-41 for regular-duty outdoor jobs, the TSA-40 for heavy-duty indoor or outdoor specifications. Now, if you need further information, consult Bulletin GEA 6681 or your General Electric sales representative. The Salesreel is pleased to introduce Frank J. Mungraw, Small Integral Motors' new manager of distribution, user, and government sales. It's all yours, Frank.
It certainly is convenient to be able to use the Salesreel to meet most of the distributor salesmen I'll be calling on in 1958. I feel sure that you'll agree with me when it comes to the Tri-Clad 55 line of motors that we have a very fine product to sell. Incidentally, the General Electric Company is the only manufacturer today who can offer a complete line of Tri-Clad 55 new NEMA re-rated motors, 1 through 125 horsepower. And now let's take a look at some of the selling features. These motors are almost splash-proof. So, when you sell motors, point out the extra protection features which makes the Tri-Clad 55 suitable for many jobs where splash-proof motors were formerly required. These motors are better protected because they have louvered air vents. The cast iron frame and end shields construction prevents the motor from being twisted out of line. Integral cast ribbing along the bottom adds extra rigidity. The insulation system of the Tri-Clad 55 resists water, heat, and stress. The entire stator assembly sheds water, a definite advantage to your customer. I have only mentioned a few of the internal features which make these motors easy to sell. Here is an unusual application. The number of uses for the line of Tri-Clad 55 motors give you an almost unlimited market. Here, as an example, we see a General Electric small integral motor powering an automatic pin setter in a bowling alley. The Tri-Clad 55 motors are designed and manufactured to make service and installation easier. This brief spot I've had in the sales reel has only allowed me to hit some of the high spots when it comes to talking about Tri-Clad 55. I'll be looking forward to meeting many of you in person this year. In 58, it'll be the Tri-Clad 55.
Lucky Overstreet, sales engineer from the Rectifier Department, gives you some selling hints on selenium rectifiers.
Thanks, Ted. Selenium rectifiers are one of the less complex pieces of equipment that you distributors have to sell. In simple terms, they convert alternating current to direct current. You take standard three-phase AC voltage, that is at 230 or 460 volts, bring the leads through the knockouts on the side of the casing up to these terminals, and direct current comes out at 250 or 125 volts. To put the rectifier into operation, turn the disconnect switch on, press the start button, and that's all there is to it. A stop button will shut the unit down. Now let's see why selenium rectifiers are so popular.
They're economical. They cost less than motor generator sets in all sizes.
They're static. They have no moving parts except for a small rotating fan.
That's why they're easy to install. They don't require any special cement, pad, or foundation. Just bring the rectifier in and set it anywhere. The rectifier is self-contained in one complete package.
No maintenance, since nothing moves. There's no oiling or greasing except to oil the fan about once a year.
You can sell them wherever there's a need for DC power. For example, elevator installations where DC motors are required. Rectifiers are used for crane operations and for synchronous motor excitation, where the field of a synchronous motor requires direct current. Practically every time you find a DC power application, you will find a potential sale for a rectifier. You will find, too, that there is often no competition when you recommend rectifiers for the customer who is willing to buy your services. Now let's take a look at some typical jobs and their approximate price tags. Sale made to a paper mill for synchronous motor excitation, $2,000. A YMCA for an elevator, $8,500. A publisher for a whole new printing press, $27,000. All the information you need is clearly spelled out in Bulletin GEA 6545 or the handbook. In addition to the selenium line, we now have a new DC power supply using silicon cells instead of selenium. Silicon has these advantages. First, the cells do not age. Second, the efficiency and regulation is much better. And third, there are more protective devices. Full information is now available in Handbook Section 9183 and GEC 1485. So whatever your customer needs in the way of DC power, selenium or silicon, we have it.
Well, that's all for now. We'll see you in the next issue of the Salesreel.